Hey everybody, this is Chris from Katana, and in this video we're going to talk all about custom make-to-order manufacturing workflows. So quite commonly, direct-to-consumer manufacturing businesses who operate on Shopify or WooCommerce platforms often have a huge disconnect between their sales as well as their manufacturing. And the biggest trouble spot here is having the ability to capture custom information on the customer front end and bring it all the way down to the factory floor level person who's going to be performing the operations to make that custom product. This is exactly what we're going to cover today. So this applies to a lot of businesses, especially if you are involved in apparel. For example, you might do custom prints on different types of apparel. If you're in like surf, skate, lifestyle businesses, you might make custom types of products, hobby products, custom furniture, industrial equipment that has special configurations that are made to order, textile business, and also businesses such as jewelry. And jewelry is going to be the one we're going to do today because it's a very, very good example of what happens whenever you come across some very specific problems in custom make-to-order manufacturing. To kick off two things, custom make-to-order manufacturers typically will create a custom engine on their website where the customer makes a selection and then it mashes together a bunch of SKUs, it creates a new product, and then that new product you define a recipe for based on those SKUs. That's typically what a lot of manufacturers actually do whenever they're trying to solve this problem. On the other hand, other manufacturers will try to find a way to generate multiple SKUs, which would require multiple recipes, but then they start to realize that websites like Shopify or WooCommerce have limitations on the total number of SKUs that you can have that would make this possible. So a good way to get around a couple of these problems is, first off, you can go to our blog. We have this really good blog entry that talks about 5 awesome apps that remove the Shopify variant limit. In Shopify, you can only have 100 variants, and that becomes a huge problem, especially when you're trying to track exactly what you're selling. And what I want to talk about today is a plugin called Bold Product Options, which allows you to define custom options for your customers when they're getting ready to place an order on any of your specific products. So what I've done is I've installed this on a test website, and this test website is representing a jewelry business called Chris's Custom Rings. Chris's Custom Rings is a company that basically would be a manufacturer that allows the customer to say what they want, and then they push it into production as soon as the order's been received. But what happens is in businesses like this, where you have lots of different materials that make the product, you have lots of different types of designs and styles, different ring sizes especially. You could have, I think, between 11 and 14 different ring sizes plus half sizes, which would double that number. Different stones, enormous plethora of stones to choose from, and then you can also do custom engraving on top of that. So that's kind of what we've done here. Now inside of Shopify, if I were to add the basic number of options which I have for every single one of these customizations, I would have the equivalent of 440 variants. But in this scenario, I actually only have 8. So why do I have 8, and how did I get 8? So what I did with this was on my custom rings back office, you're going to look in my products section. You'll see that my custom solitaire that I sell on my website actually only has 8 variant options. And those would include the material type and the band style. So I have 4 materials and 2 band styles. 2 times 4 gives me 8 total variants. Now, I've already connected this to my Katana website. And on my Katana website, you'll see a list of items, my products. There's my 8 variants here. And inside of my variant configuration list, you'll see that I've got a product recipe that's already been defined for the 4 types of materials that will be used across the 8 different types of variants, inclusive of the product material type and band style. So every time I receive an order for one of those, it's going to automatically populate information related with a quote, what I want to call a blanket recipe for each one of those custom rings. So this automatically fills out some information when I do the make to order workflow. In addition to that, I've also added in some operations, which would pull in for every single variant SKU I get an order for. And I've also added some raw material items, which include the material, the types of gold, silver, platinum, as well as the different types of stones that the customer can select from, which would ultimately define the custom element of this ring that would get ordered. So in order to kind of test this out, I'll go ahead and show you how it works. And what I've done here is for my custom solitaire ring, you can see inside of this, I've got the Shopify variant options are selectable here. So let's go ahead and do a yellow gold timeless band style. Let's select a size 10 ring with, let's say, a tiger eye stone. And let's put in a custom engraving. Let's say maybe good friends, something simple. And I'll go ahead and add that to my cart. And you'll see that it pulls in this information. And this is what they call inside of Shopify custom line item properties. And on WooCommerce, they call this metadata. So what this simply does is when you go and view your cart and you identify the line item inside of your order, and then you check out, these little pieces of custom line item data are going to be visible here, and that's going to get passed on to the sales order. So let's go ahead and add some contact information and create an order out of this. All right, we'll continue to shipping and continue to payment. Complete order. So this will pull into my Shopify backend where you'll see that my order has arrived here. Should be 1006. Okay, there it is. Came in just now. It's currently in pending and the order is unfulfilled. Now on my Katana list of sales orders from my sell section, we will see that it has appeared down here below. Now let's say, for example, we're going to go ahead and put this through production. Now what makes this really easy and prevents you from having to have multiple SKUs is I'll push this higher in the manufacturing queue. I'll select the make to order button, and then that will create a manufacturing order directly on my manufacturing queue. Now, my production team is watching my manufacturing queue, so that way they know exactly what to make. It's also where they can get a full list of their tasks and identify what manufacturing orders can be pushed into production based on ingredients availability. So if we take a look inside of the order, this is exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see that the ring size 10, which was selected by my customer on the front end side of Shopify, the stone, as well as the custom engraving option, has been pulled into Shopify sales order, which got transferred into Katana sales order, which was then pushed as a make to order, which carried over into the manufacturing order. So that way, any member on my team can go ahead and understand exactly what it is that they need to make based on those inputs. When we go down further here into the ingredients list, we'll see that, okay, it automatically pulled up the 14 karat yellow gold material for 1 gram that has to be consumed, which comes out to be about $32 US. But let's say, for example, a size 10 ring consumes a little bit more material. So maybe instead we will actually put 1.3 grams into that specific process for making this ring. Now, that will tell me, okay, do I have enough available? I can go ahead and buy some more if that's needed. So let's go ahead and get some of that purchased, and we'll select that from our precious metal supplier, and you'll see that it is currently on its way. Now, going a little bit further into that, the customer selected a tiger eye stone, and from this ingredients list, we can add a new row. We could put in the tiger eye stone, a quantity of 1 unit, and also something that we clearly need to purchase in. So let's create a purchase order for that as well. Last bit here is the custom engraving section, where we're going to add the term good friends into the ring itself. And we would want to add, in this case, an extra operation step, which will give us an assignment directly for our engraver, which might take 1 hour at a dedicated cost of $20 per hour. Okay, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and get these POs marked as received so we can get this in stock. Now that we've marked our POs as received, we'll come back in here. We'll see that everything is now in stock. We can go ahead and start the production process, and our operations are all ready to go and up to date. Before you push this into production, what you can do is then simply print out a manufacturing order for your team. For example, a lot of jewelry companies will outsource a lot of their processes. They'll do casting with a goldsmith, they'll do the setting and polishing with a jeweler, and also engraving with a special engraver. And they can take this order, put it together with the materials, and send it to each location and have it get filled out along the way, and then come back into Katana and update all of your material movements. Once the production is completed on this manufacturing order and you update it here on the manufacturing order itself, on the sales screen you'll see that the item's production has been done, the sales item is in stock, and then you can simply pack it up and mark it as delivered. Once it's marked as delivered through Katana's Shopify order fulfillment sync, it will update the order on Shopify, send an email to your client, and letting them know that it's on the way. And that right there sums up how to do a custom make-to-order workflow using custom options on your e-commerce website and pushing it into Katana and manufacturing them. If you have any specific questions about this workflow, please feel free to send us a chat request in the bottom right or send us an email to support@katanamrp.com. That's it for now. Have a great day and happy manufacturing.